What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bass Shed. My name is Ryan, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the bass line to the James Brown classic, Get on the Good Foot. This album, by the same name, was recorded between 1970 and 1972, and the record was released November 20th, 1972. This time period within James Brown's band was kind of interesting because the bass chair wasn't really solidified. We had Bernard Odom leaving in late 1969. Bootsy Collins was in the band for a chunk of 1970, and then Fred Thomas would take over the bass chair in mid to late 1971. His first record was going to be Hot Pants. Several bass players are given credit for playing on this record. There's Gordon Edwards, Michael Moore, Bootsy Collins, Fred Thomas, Bob West. I don't know. From all my digging around, I couldn't find out who played on what tune. If anybody knows or can find that information, please post it in the comments below. I'd be really, really interested to check that out. I personally think this line sounds a lot like Bootsy to me, only because there's so many characteristics of it that are very similar to his playing on the tune Get Up, aka Sex Machine. There's a lot that, and there's something else within the tune I'll talk about that makes it really feel like it's Bootsy Collins. But then there's also something here that's kind of a precursor to a bass line Fred Thomas would play in 1973. So I don't know. I just wanted to throw all that out there. Get on the Good Foot is recorded at 107 beats per minute, and it's basically just a D7 vamp. It hangs out on that chord for the majority of the tune. There's a section where it kind of breaks up with some fun bass runs. After that, there's kind of this new bass line that's established before a really cool transition part, and then back to the initial groove just over a D7 chord. All right, the beginning bass line of this tune, it's all over D7. Our notes are going to be D, F, G, C, and D. All right, this bass line is really rhythmically active here at the first part. Right, it's all subdivided by 16th notes, so we're going to count through it real quick. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and a little bit faster. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and now with the metronome. And so that's going to be a one measure idea that repeats for 44 measures. And it's difficult to stay focused and stay mentally engaged in the music, to stay emotionally engaged, to still give this all the feel it deserves. That's part of the, why this bass line is so important. And I'll talk more about that in relation to funk music at the end of this video. But for now, that's the pattern for the first section of this tune. And now let's dig into these walk downs that happen. All right, so here at the next section, we have these fun little walk downs. Starts on the 5th fret on the A string, and just gonna walk chromatically down to the open A. D, C sharp, C, B natural, B flat, A, right, chromatically. Then the second part of it, gonna jump up to the 12th fret on the G string. Again, walk down chromatically from the G to the D the first time. The second time, he stops at the E. And then this is going to be where the bass line kind of switches up on the tune, and he's going to play something different. All right, so this is where the bass line switches up, and it could also be the signature and let us know who the actual bass player of it actually is. There's two ways to think about it, and I'll talk about both of those in a second. First, let's take a look at the bass line. It's simply a hammer-on from C to D, and that's going to happen for 16 measures, actually 17 measures, before something interesting happens, and then we're back in it for another 8 measures. So it's really it's that simple. Now, okay, riddle me this. If it's Fred Thomas who played this, that makes sense because this is basically his bass line from the tune Payback that's going to be recorded in 1973. So, next year, this was released in 72. In 73, he's going to cut the Payback, and that's pretty much the bass line. So, could be Fred Thomas. Now, what happens next leads me to think it's Bootsy. Let's dig into that. All right, moving on. Again, we have one more measure of just the C to D hammer on. This is the measure. Beat 1, C to D on the and to 2, goes up here, and there's a D note. Now, if that's the bass, pretty sure it is. There's like this effect on it, right? Bootsy. Also, just the kind of this randomness of it, Bootsy's kind of notorious for just doing these stabs and things. Obviously, a lot of his work with Parliament was like that. He would just go up and do a thing. I'm still on the Bootsy. I'm still Team Bootsy on this bass line, but the Fred Thomas thing makes sense too. So it's an interesting section to kind of think about that. After we get done with those two measures and what I think is the Bootsy stab, the D here, we have 8 more measures of just the hammer on from C to D, and then we are going to be into the walk down section again. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up, please hit subscribe, follow the Bass Shed on YouTube. I will have a link in the description below that will take you to the free PDF download of this bass line. You can stop by thebasshed.com for more bass transcriptions, and I will catch you there as we continue to learn from the legends.